Programming a VFD fan on our Ventra XT. We go to menu hotkeys, control device setup, and then we want to add a control device, highlight it, press enter. Now we're going to search through our list to find VFD, and you got several different options here. The fan we are going to be using will be set up as a VFD tunnel fan. So we press enter, and now is the number fan that you have. And in our case, we are going to call this fan 2 for the VFD. Then we're going to go to the zone 1, which if you have multiple zones, whatever zone that fan is in, you're going to program it for that zone. We are in zone 1, so we're going to leave it there. And then we're going to go on to the module that it needs to be programmed to. Now this is an analog output device, so it will need to be wired to the module 2 analog output board on the Ventra XT. And as we see, we just choose from the options. And we have mod 2, and then we're going to which channel we have it wired to. And in our case, we have it wired to channel 12. So we're going to go and choose channel 12, press enter to confirm, and then we're going to go back to our menu hotkeys, to our output device, then go to next module, and then we have our VFD right there, tunnel fan. And here's where we have the rest of the settings to set up your VFD fan. Touch them and highlight them, and then you can alter them. And this one is the set for what sensors you are going to use to operate your VFD tunnel fan. You can press enter and set by individual sensors, or you can leave it to all. In our case, we're going to leave it on all sensors are controlling this. Arrow down. Now we're going to set the operating mode. You have several different options to choose from. Our case, we're going to use tunnel and cool. That way this fan can operate in power or natural mode or tunnel mode. Press enter, arrow down. Now you have the option of setting the on temperature and off temperature. So your on temperature is going to be the temperature at which you're ramping and your fan starts. And then your off temp, of course, is when it's going to completely shut off. So it's set for 84 and 82. If you want to change that, you just press the enter button, come in here and set for whatever you would like to set it at. We're going to leave it where it was, arrow down. Now the fan on power setting is the setting of where the fan is going to start running at. Now you can, once you're setting this, it's going to give you the option to test this new power setting if you choose to do that. I will say yes, and now I'm going to ramp it up, because recommend we don't want to go below about 25% of that fan, because otherwise, you know, depending on the motor you have, you could start it up too low and damage the motor or cause problems. So we're going to start ours at 25%, plus the fact that you've got air movement you got to take into account. You've got a louver or a shutter that's on that fan, and if you don't have it coming on fast enough, it may not even open the louver, and so you're really not going to be moving any air. So normally we start around 25 to 35 on the power ramping. Then we come down, we have our power ramping start temp, and this is when it's going to, whenever it gets that temp, it's going to begin to ramp up in speed. This one's set for 88. If you want to change that, you can come in here and do that. We can set it for something else. Set it for 86. So at 86 degrees, it's going to begin to ramp up in speed. Come up to full power temp. This is the temperature at which your fan is going to come on and run at 100% speed. We'll change that to, say, 90, so it'll come on a little sooner. Then you have your full power ramp, or your full power setting, I should say. That's the speed at which it is running. So 100 is max. That's what we're going to leave it at. So I'm going to leave it there, and it will test it. It gave you the option to test if it wanted to. And then down to run mode. How are you running this based off of temp or timed, temp only, temp and timed, or temp or min vent? In our case, I do want to run it on temp or min vent, so I'm going to press enter. And now that's what it's going to run at. Either the temperature will bring it on, or your minimum vent settings will bring it on. Now your time power setting is just that. When you come on to your timed set for like min vent, what temperature do you want that to run at? Or what speed, I should say. Well, again, that's going to be a lower setting, so I'm going to put that down here at 25 again. And that's where it will start on that. But you could set that for whatever you want. Then run while entry to exit a tunnel. You can set this fan to run either yes or no when you're entering and exiting tunnel, and this one's set to no. I'm going to leave it that. Used for proportional control. We have a static pressure sensor on this controller, so I am not using it for proportional control. It's only going to run off of static pressure, so I'll put no. And then fans off at curtain opening. So if you have sidewall curtains and you're a natural barn, if you can set this here so that once the curtains get to be a certain size opening, that the fan will shut off when the curtains get to a certain. And then you also have a fan override curtain open temp. So in the event that even with the curtains down, your temperature gets excessively high, you can set that and the fans will actually come back on. And if you want, you can set that for whatever you'd like that suits your needs for your type of management. And then again, you can set for looking at either a tunnel inlet or no device. You could set that if you wanted to. Or you could set it to all curtains like it's set to right now. And then your control voltage. You can change that if you have a specific need and you have it wired properly for 0 to 10 or 10 to 0, but in our case, we run 0 to 10 volts on our Module 2 analog output board, so we will leave it at 0 to 10 volts. And then you do have an option that if you look in your VFD manual, you may have a fan that can use a power relay option to turn the fan on and off, say with a toggle switch on your controller. So you could set that there for the module that it's attached to, say module 1, and then the channel of the relay, the toggle switch that it's using, that you could set that for. And in our case, we're not using a power relay option in this particular setup, so we don't need to set anything there. And that was the last thing. So we have now set our VFD tunnel fan on our Ventra XT.